ऑनलाइन मिलता है देन सब्सिक्वेंटली फॉर दिस मंथ एंड आपको प्रॉब्लम क्लियर
Okay. Yes, yes. Social psychology, come. Okay. So in the Western view, social psychology or psychology in general is mostly what? Self versus others, right? Self versus the society. Self, me is different, society and others are different, right? This is mostly the Western view. But in the Indian view, we view everyone as one. So there was a term that was very popular in G20. कोई बता सकता है क्या term था? Very good, very good. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Okay, so you can write this down, and whenever you get a question on Indian context, social psychology in Indian context, आप लोगों को ये नाम और जो भी आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे वो लिखना बहुत ज़रूरी है, ठीक है? So the notion of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means that we are all one. So it focuses on interrelatedness of community. ठीक है? जो वेस्टर्न व्यू है, the western notion is very individualistic, right? It's me versus others. But the Indian notion is based on, yes, very good, interrelatedness of the community, collectivism, yes. So we are all one, and this is the main basis of social psychology in India as well. ठीक है? इंडिया में जब हम सोशल साइकोलॉजी पढ़ते हैं तब हम पूरे सोसाइटी को एज अ होल हम देखते हैं, ठीक है, नॉट एज सेपरेट एंटिटीज. कम क्या कम क्लोज टू डू. The Indian notion is also based on something called RTA. Indian notion is also based on RTA. ये RTA क्या है? It is a universal governing cosmic force. ठीक है? So Indian notion is based on RTA. RTA means it's an energy. It's a cosmic force and it's a universal cosmic force. ठीक है? हमारा जो पूरा world है, universe है, is based on this force which is called the RTA. ठीक है? Understood? Another term which is very popular is Advaita Vedanta. सुना है इस term के बारे में? Yes. What does it mean? Can anyone please share? Advaita Vedanta. Yes. One. Undivided. Yes. Yes. She's right. You are also right. So Advaita Vedanta is the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta says that we human beings cannot be separate from the society. Human beings cannot be separate from the natural environment. We cannot be separated from nature. So everything is basically one. Understood? कि हम हमें नेचर से अलग नहीं कर सकते या फिर हमें सोसाइटी से अलग नहीं कर सकते. सो इसका मीनिंग ये है अद्वैत वेदांत. ठीक है? सो दिस इज अद्वैत वेदांत. Alright, so these all are very important terms when you are talking about, when you are reading about social psychology in the Indian context. So now if we see the evolution, so how it all began. So in 1928 you can write Mukherjee and Sengupta. These were some of the authors, Mukherjee and Sengupta. In 1928 they came up with the first textbook on social psychology. ठीक है? They came up with the first textbook on social psychology in 1928. All right. Now, even after independence, even after 1947, we were still studying Western concepts. हम लोग Western concepts ही पढ़ रहे थे even after independence. And even the books that we are studying were mostly written by Western authors. But the period between 1969 and 1989, okay? So this period between 1969 and 1989 saw great emergence of social psychology in the Indian context. Lot of theories came up, they gave their contributions, okay? So they gave up their theories. They studied Indian society in general. They studied Indian society and how we can apply the principles and theories of social psychology in the Indian community and the context. Okay, this is between 1969 to 1989. Okay, so for example, Rath 1972. These are names of people. These are names of psychologists who have done great work in this field. Okay, Rath 1972 has done lot of work in this area. Okay, so this is one name. Then we have Prasad Adinarayan. Prasad Adi Narayan. Okay. JBP Sinha, Pandey and Naidu in the year 1992, what they did, they just moved away from the Western tradition. Okay, so they diverted from the Western tradition and they said that no, we need to study the originality of Indian theories and the Indian population. So this is how they began. They were the pioneers. Okay, these names are all very important. Prasad, Adinarayan, JBP Sinha, Pandey, Naidu, all of them. Okay? Yes. No, I'm just separating. You're asking what I'm making this? कौन सा JBP Sinha, Pandey and Naidu? N. Okay. ठीक है? JBP Sinha and Pandey and Naidu. Okay? ये एक साथ इन्होंने अलग अलग लोग हैं पर इन लोगों ने एक साथ काम किया है सो दे हैव ऑल वर्क टुगेदर ओके सो दे हैव ऑल वर्क टुगेदर in 1992 and they were the first ones to deviate from western tradition they were the first ones western tradition से ये लोग अलग हो गए ठीक है एंड इन्होंने बोला कि नहीं इन सोशल साइकोलॉजी अगर इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में पढ़ना है सो वी हैव टू बी वेरी ओरिजिनल ओके सो दे वर द फर्स्ट वंस ठीक है also another name very important G Bose G Bose 1939 considered to be the pioneer in modern social psychology. Pioneer in modern social psychology. Okay, G. Bose 1939 was can be considered to be the pioneer in modern social psychology. So if we have to conclude, if we have to sum it up, so today we are in a very good place, but we still have a long way to go, right? We still have a long way to go. Lot of research has to be done in this area, keeping the Indian society in context, keeping the Indian society in mind, and then only we can just contribute more and more to this field. Okay, so this is how you can conclude. All of you have written? Can I erase? Okay, so the next topic we are starting with research methods. So can you tell me what is research? What is research? What is research? Yes. Yes, to search again, or if you want to do some sort of investigation, or you want to understand, you want to understand a topic, you're trying to gain knowledge about something. Okay, so all these are called, yes. So now there are different ways by which we can do the research, isn't it? So this, when we do research in different ways, they are known as research methods. Can you give me examples of some methods? Yes, questionnaire is a way, but the method is called survey. Okay, survey method, or case study, yes. Observation, yes. And experiments, very good. Somebody also said interview. Yes, yes. So all these are what? Examples of research methods. Okay. So let us start with number one, systematic observation. Okay. Systematic observation. So what is systematic observation? So the definition says that when we systematically observe and record behavior, it is called systematic observation. ठीक है, जब आप किसी को ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हो और आप सिस्टमेटिकली ऑब्जर्व भी कर रहे हो, उसको रिकॉर्ड भी कर रहे हो, ऐसा नहीं कि बस ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हो गया काम, यू हैव टू रिकॉर्ड ऑल्सो ना, यू हैव टू मेक योर नोट्स, right? You have to record some, you have to keep some sort of a record with you so that you can understand, analyze it later. So that is called systematic observation. Now there are two types. One is naturalistic, yes, and the other is lab based. Okay, so what is naturalistic observation? Yes, so when you observe someone in the real setting, for example, I am a researcher and I want to observe the behavior of kids in a playground. Okay, so what I'll do, I can go to a park or I can go to a playground and I will observe how the kids are playing. ये क्या हो गया आपका? Naturalistic. Q, why is the name naturalistic? Right. Yes, because we are observing them in a natural environment. That's why it's called naturalistic observation. But every type, every method has both advantage and disadvantage. Can you think of what is the advantage of naturalistic observation? Yes. I'm talking about advantage. Advantage. What you're saying? The reliable. So she is saying that the data we get or the information that we'll get from naturalistic observation is what? Very reliable, very real, very authentic. Because if you go to a park और आप observe कर रहे हो कि बच्चे कैसे खेल रहे हैं, so it's okay, normal. The kids will not be bothered, right? They will be like, हाँ कोई normal auntie या uncle बैठे हैं park में जैसे normally usually लोग होते हैं park में, so they will play. So naturalistic, they will not behave or they will not act और वो fake नहीं बनेंगे, वो बहुत natural होगा. ये advantage है. लेकिन एक disadvantage भी है naturalistic observations का. Can you think? हाँ. नहीं, नेचुरलिस्टिक में यूजुअली पता नहीं चलता, वो एडवांटेज ही है कि नेचुरलिस्टिक ऑब्जर्वेशन में द पार्टिसिपेंट्स डू नॉट गेट टू नो अबाउट द प्रेजेंस. Yes, yes. So what she is saying is that we cannot control or manipulate in a naturalistic observation. So suppose the example that I'm giving you, I want to observe the behavior of only play school kids 2-3 years. ठीक है, पार्क में बड़े बच्चे भी तो आते हैं, and suppose a girl who is of class 3 or class 4 suddenly comes and starts playing with these kids, एंड उनको कोई गेम सिखाने लग गए, डॉग एंड अ बोन, एरोप्लेन कैसे बनाते हैं, द होल प्लेइंग बिहेवियर चेंजेस ना. बट आई वाज नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन दैट. ऑब्जर्वर बायस भी हो सकता है. ऑब्जर्वर बायस हर केस में होता है. ऑब्जर्वर बायस का हर केस में डिसएडवांटेज हो सकता है, राइट. इवन इन नेचुरलिस्टिक ऑल्सो लैब बेस्ड में भी मैं बायस ऑब्जर्वेशन दे सकती हूँ, वो पर्टिकुलरली इसका नहीं है. बट इसमें क्या है, मैं कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकती. इट्स एन ओपन पब्लिक पार्क. आई कैन नॉट टेल द क्लास 3 child to leave. I cannot tell, right? So that my research is not what I wanted it to be. So this is one thing, that means lack of control. Okay. The same thing is an advantage for the lab based. Yes. So for example, how a lab based observation can be done. For example, I invite or I tell the parents that please send your kids, play school kids, to my laboratory, and there is a one-way looking mirror. One-way looking mirror मतलब I can see them, they cannot see me, right? मैं लैब पे बुलाती हूँ उनको, बच्चों को, एंड वो लोग कैसे खेलते हैं, आई एम लुकिंग एट देम एंड आई एम ऑब्जर्विंग. So this is a very control thing. It is giving me a sense of control because I will invite only a particular age group के बच्चे जिनके ऊपर मुझे study करना है, right? So this is what advantage. But again, what is the disadvantage? Yes. तो जो बच्चे आएंगे सबसे पहले तो उनको लगेंगे कि मामा कहाँ लेके आए हो, ये लैब, ये क्या है, मतलब ये प्लेग्राउंड थोड़ी ना है, वी डोंट प्ले हियर. सो ऑटोमेटिकली देयर बिहेवियर विल चेंज. इट कैन नॉट बी द नेचुरल बिहेवियर दैट दे शो व्हेन दे आर प्लेइंग इन अ पार्क. वो तो नहीं रहेगा ना. उनको लगेगा थोड़ा सा कुछ अलग है, एंड दे माइट स्टार्ट शोइंग देयर बेस्ट बिहेवियर सडनली. ऐसा हो सकता है. और दे माइट शो देयर वर्स्ट बिहेवियर. दोनों हो सकता है, राइट? वी डोंट नो. So the presence of a new environment or the presence of the researcher will impact it in some way or the other. ठीक है? It can? Yes, low ecological validity you say, na? Yeah. So this is systematic observation. And number 2, we can talk about second method is survey. What is survey? What is survey? Yeah. हाँ, इंडिविजुअल नहीं है, बस सैंपल ऑफ इंडिविजुअल. सही है, एक इंडिविजुअल से नहीं. सर्वे इज व्हेन वी कलेक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन और डेटा फ्रॉम लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पीपल. ठीक है? So there are different ways by which we can do this. What are some of the ways? Yes. Questionnaires में interviews भी होते हैं, telephonic interviews भी होते हैं. Face-to-face interviews will largely they do not come under survey, but हाँ हो सकता है because you can think of census, है ना? 10 साल में जो होता है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया करते हैं, तो हर घर में जाके पूछते हैं ना कि how many of you are there, how many of working people are there in your home, कौन कितने लोग आप प्राइवेट कंपनी में कर रहे हैं, कितने लोग गवर्नमेंट. हाँ, वो फेस टू फेस इंटरव्यू हो गया, पर वो है सर्वे, वो सर्वे ही कर रहे हैं. ऑनलाइन सर्वे. यस, यूट्यूब पे आता है ना आजकल, which brand do you use, and then you have to skip if you don't want to attempt the questions, and you have to skip it, right? So all of these are examples of survey. In today's date, in digital world, it is very easy to do survey. You just make one questionnaire and then you circulate it in your WhatsApp groups. बस अपने दोस्तों को बोलना है that in how many groups you have, please circulate it and fill up the questionnaires, right? So basically, वो questionnaire format में होता है. So what is the advantage of a survey method? What are the advantages? हाँ. Yes, number 1, large number of people can be contacted at one point of time, right? Large number of people can be contacted at one point of time. This is one advantage. What are some of the other advantages? Yes, cost effective, time saving, cost effective, right? Different regions, results. That means more data you are getting, na? Anonymity, yes, yes, yes. The more age groups you can target, all of you are giving the right points. Yes, डिफरेंट परसेप्शंस हाँ मतलब जितने लोगों को आप कांटेक्ट करोगे आपको उतना ही वेराइटी ऑफ डेटा मिलेगा उतना ही ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलेगा है ना सो जो आपने बोला कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव टाइम इफेक्टिव ऑल ऑफ दीज आर एब्सोल्युटली ट्रू बिकॉज इफ you're doing a survey through digital media तब तो कुछ भी पैसा नहीं जा रहा so you're just circulating it WhatsApp or you are doing it through emails it's very free right and otherwise also if you do it in a physical form you just take a printout and you do Xerox copies it's much less than hiring a laboratory and doing an observation right it's much less expensive टाइम का भी है डेफिनेटली टाइम इफेक्टिव भी होता है राइट बिकॉज इट डजंट रिक्वायर सो मच ऑफ टाइम alright so these are some of the advantages now can you tell me the disadvantages yes response bias social desirability what is social desirability means yes yes हाँ so for example मैं एक ऐसे रिसर्च कर रही हूँ कि what is your attitude towards the natural environment so automatically just to show your best behavior you will say oh we should preserve our environment हमें बहुत take care हमें care करना चाहिए and all that right so this is social desirability so this is one problem and then there are a lot of other problems like क्या क्या है incomplete questionnaires बहुत लोग आधा अगर डिजिटल है आजकल तो वी पुट दिस ना दैट ओनली इफ यू complete all the questions you can press submit but if it is physical unless and until like lot of people just skip questions and just submit it what are you going to do with this incomplete questionnaire this is the problem हाँ मतलब समझ में नहीं आया हाँ हम्म नहीं हम एक जने का नहीं करते ना वही तो मैं बोल रही हूँ जैसे सपोज मैंने आपको बोला कि आप अपने जितने भी दोस्त हैं सबके व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में भेज दो किसको बोला उसको बोला ऐसे स्प्रेड होता है ना तो मैं एक जने का जब मेरे पास आता है सो समटाइम्स इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट क्योंकि मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस एनोनिमस होता है नाम नहीं होता अब मैं कैसे पता करूँ कि किसने आधा आंसर भेजा है मुझे ठीक है हाँ यस एंड कभी लाइक you cannot clear your doubts in a survey very easily so you will not take so much of pain to go and consult the person who has made the questionnaire कि आप एक क्वेश्चन में डाउट आ रहा है प्लीज मुझे समझा दो इस क्वेश्चन का मीनिंग क्या है आप ऐसे ही अपने आप अज्यूम करके यू आर गोइंग टू जस्ट टिक इट राइट and this is a problem because you start misinterpreting the information or the question most of the times people also make others fill up on their behalf that please do it yeah I don't want to do it please you fill the questionnaire this is also a problem right so how can we trust the data yes questions should be very simple this is absolutely important point the question should be very simple no difficult english should be used very simple to understand right so this is yes short duration of survey easy to understand and then easy to contact also now in the digital things lot of people also mention lot of researchers mention their phone number in case of any doubt please contact so these are some of the things you should do and also you need to collect information from many people from the largest number of people as possible so if you are collecting from 1000 people so hopefully out of that 1700 will give real authentic answer and the other 300 you can just discard ठीक है yes वीडियो कमेंट्स नहीं मान सकते। क्यों? क्योंकि वो कोई, हम किसी टॉपिक के ऊपर नहीं कर रहे, राइट? कोई कुछ भी बात के ऊपर कमेंट कर सकता है, ठीक है? सो वो नहीं होगा। वीडियो कमेंट्स इज नॉट अ सर्वे टेक्निक। हाँ, वो भी सर्वे हो सकता है, हाँ, बट वो सर्वे इंटरव्यू मेथड के थ्रू से वो सर्वे कर, ठीक है? वो हम क्वेश्चनर मेथड के थ्रू से भी हम सर्वे कर सकते हैं, हम टेलीफोनिक इंटरव्यू के थ्रू से भी हम सर्वे कर सकते हैं, हम ऐसे फेस टू फेस इंटरव्यू के थ्रू से भी हम सर्वे कर सकते हैं। समझ में आया? सो ये डिफरेंट टेक्निक्स है, सर्वे मेथड के अलग अलग तरीके हैं। अंडरस्टूड? एनी डाउट्स? ओके, नाउ कम एक्सपेरिमेंट्स। यस, so under experiments, so first of all tell me, what do you mean by experiment? What are experiments? हाँ, हाँ, कुछ, yes, so yes, हाँ, very nice. So I'm assuming you all know what is independent variable and dependent variable, but nevertheless we are going to discuss and revise the concepts again. But experiments can be either correlational or causal. Okay, so you know what is correlation? So let us first understand this. Correlational means when I'm just trying to establish a correlation or a relationship between two variables. Just relationship. I am not claiming that X is causing Y. Okay, I'll explain you with an example. Suppose I want to see if playing violent video games leads to aggressive behavior. If playing violent video games in children leads to aggressive behavior. क्या बच्चे अगर वायलेंट वीडियो गेम्स खेलते हैं वो क्या वो एग्रेसिव ज़्यादा बिहेव करते हैं? ये मेरा क्या है? ये मेरा रिसर्च टॉपिक है एंड मुझे इसके ऊपर रिसर्च करना है। सबसे पहले आप बताओ कि इसमें इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल क्या है? वीडियो गेम्स, यस, वीडियो गेम्स है इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल। क्यों? हाँ, क्योंकि हम वो चेंज कर सकते हैं, वो हम कॉजल में देखेंगे कि कैसे चेंज कर सकते हैं। बट डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल क्या हो गया? डिपेंडेंट, यस, एग्रेशन, ठीक है? एग्रेशन इज द डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल। नाउ when in correlational research I just want to find out if there is a relationship between playing violent video games and being aggressive. So there are many ways. One thing I can do is I can call or invite the parents of some kids, right? फिर मैं उनसे parents से पूछूंगी कि do your kids play violent video games? So if they say yes, I have a list of how many kids are playing violent video games, right? Then I can ask the parents again कि are you getting complaints from the school, or do you think your child is aggressive in nature? So if the parents say yes, then I will take one. Got it? So this is how I can do. So I will have two sets of data. I'll have two sets of data. Now I can find out correlation. So correlation is a what? It's a formula. So if you want to find out correlation, you have to do some calculation. It's a formula. Formula निकाल के हम correlation का value हमें मिल जाएगा, ठीक है? Correlation का value हमेशा -1 से +1 के बीच होता है। -1 और +1 के बीच correlation का value होता है। So suppose मेरे इस example में, in this example, the correlation value I got is what? 0.8. My value that I got is 0.8. which means it's a positive strong correlation. Okay, strong correlation means whenever your value of correlation is closer to either +1 or -1, closer, that value is a strong correlation. जितना close होगा +1 और -1 से, वो value क्या होगा? Strong होगा, strong correlation. So in this example, if my value is 0.8, I will say, oh wow, that means there is a very strong correlation. मतलब violent video games और एग्रेशन में कुछ बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग रिश्ता है, कोरिलेशन है, बस इतना. मैं अभी भी ये नहीं बोल सकती हूँ कि ओ वायलेंट वीडियो गेम्स खेलते हैं इसलिए वो लोग एग्रेसिव है. नो, आई कांट से दिस येट, आई कांट से दिस. आई हैव टू डू अ कॉजल एक्सपेरिमेंट फॉर दैट. वो हम बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे. ठीक है, अब दिस इज प्लस. ठीक है, नाउ व्हाट इफ इट इज -0.8, मतलब नेगेटिव बट अभी भी ये स्ट्रॉन्ग है. नेगेटिव स्ट्रॉन्ग कोरिलेशन. स्ट्रॉन्ग का मतलब है हाउ क्लोजर इज द वैल्यू टू 1 और -1. हाउ क्लोजर इज योर वैल्यू टू +1 or -1. The symbol plus or minus only determines if it is positive correlation or negative correlation. Now what is it? I'll explain. So imagine, so playing violent video games, ठीक है, aggressive behavior is also increasing. ये क्या हो गया आपका? Positive correlation. Not playing violent video games, no aggressive behavior. ये क्या हो गया? ये भी positive. Yes. So when both the variables are going in the same direction, it is called positive. Okay. Now, if this is happening, that means playing violent video games, no aggressive behavior, negative, or not playing violent video games, more aggressive behavior, negative. Clear है? I'll give you more examples. हाँ, so negative correlation में they are inversely proportional always. ठीक है, and positive correlation में they are directly proportional. So for example, I am a researcher, I want to do my research on eating ice cream and gaining weight. ठीक है, so I find out that if I am not eating ice cream then I am gaining weight. ये क्या हो गया? Negative correlation. This is negative correlation. And suppose I see that if I am not eating ice cream I am not gaining weight. ये क्या हो गया? Positive correlation. Yes, positive correlation. So whenever you get confused, just remember this hand movements. So in positive, both of them are going up or going down. In negative, it's inversely proportional. ठीक है, समझ में आया? Now strength का मैंने आपको क्या बताया? Which correlation will be considered to be the stronger one? The one which is closer to either +1 or -1. Now you tell me, in this, which is the stronger correlation? Huh? -0.6. Very good. क्यों? Yes. So -0.6 is the stronger correlation. The minus simply means क्या है कि negative है, लेकिन है तो strong. है तो strong ना? Stronger than this. Okay. Which one is stronger? 0.9. Okay. Now, yes, be clear. -0.7. Clear है? Okay. So this is how, and these questions are very common in entrances. आते हैं. Which one of them is a stronger correlation? Identify the strong correlation. So whenever you are asked to compare between two correlation values, you have to forget about this minus or plus, and बस values को compare करो. ठीक है. So now I want to go as a researcher. I want to go one step ahead. I am not satisfied that okay, there is some relationship between playing violent games and aggressive behavior. I want to know more. I want to know, is it causing it? क्या violent games की वजह से ये लोग aggressive हो रहे हैं? मुझे ये जानना. So for that, yes. कोरिलेशन, हाँ, वो तो आप कोई भी मेथड करो. कोरिलेशन के अंदर आप कुछ मेथड आप कुछ भी कर सकते हो. हाँ, कुछ भी मेथड से कर सकते हो. इंटरव्यू मेथड से भी कर सकते हो. मतलब कोरिलेशन ये सब मेथड्स हैं, बट कोरिलेशन इज लाइक what type you're doing, what you want to know basically, what is your research question. Okay, so so suppose now I want to go one step ahead and I want to establish a what cause and effect relationship. So what I'll do, I will call some kids to my lab. I will ask them, please watch this violent video game. Okay, to one group of kids. To another group of kids, I will call them and I will ask them to play normal video games. Mario, Subway Surfer, normal video games. और एक group को मैंने क्या बोला कि आप लोग violent video games खेलो. Right? So the group which I am giving them to play the violent video games, that group is called the experimental group. क्योंकि हम उस पर एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे हैं. और ये ग्रुप जो नॉर्मल वीडियो गेम्स खेल रहे हैं उसमें हम क्या बोलते हैं, कंट्रोल ग्रुप. दैट इज द कंट्रोल ग्रुप. ओके, नाउ आफ्टर दे आर डन प्लेइंग, आई विल पुट देम ऑल इन अ रूम एंड आई विल सी हाउ टू बिहेव. सो इफ the kids who were playing the violent video games suddenly become aggressive, they start hitting each other, that means my hypothesis is correct. And if the students who were playing normal video games or the kids who were playing normal video games and they are also behaving normally, they are not aggressive, that means also my hypothesis is correct. What is hypothesis? Yes, good. Hypothesis is tentative statement. Tentative statement about what the outcomes of my research are. I'm so sorry, I forgot to do this. Please circulate it, ठीक है? Tentative statement means before doing a research, when we hypothesize, when we assume कि हमारा result क्या होने वाला है. For example, if I say watching violent games leads to aggressive behavior, this statement is a hypothesis. This statement is a hypothesis. मैं उल्टा भी बोल सकती हूँ कि watching violent games will not lead to aggressive behavior. I can say this also. I'm assuming ना, research करने के बाद मुझे पता लगेगा कि क्या सच में होता है. बट पहले हम जो अज्यूम करके स्टेटमेंट देते हैं उसको बोलते हैं हाइपोथेसिस. ओके, एंड हाइपोथेसिस को फैक्ट नहीं बोलते, हम बोलते हैं कि हमारा हाइपोथेसिस एक्सेप्ट हो गया है, हमारा हाइपोथेसिस करेक्ट था, मतलब हमारा हमने जो अज्यूम किया था वो करेक्ट था. ठीक है, या हाँ, या नहीं, बिल्कुल आप कर सकते हो कोरिलेशन में. हाँ बिल्कुल, बहुत रिसर्चर्स कोरिलेशन रिसर्च पब्लिश करते हैं. इट्स जस्ट वी आर नॉट क्लेमिंग कि इसने इसको कॉज किया. हम इतना इस क्लेम तक हम नहीं जा सकते. हम बोल सकते हैं कि कुछ है इन दोनों में, यू नो, देयर इज सम रिलेशनशिप. हाँ 100% कर सकते हो, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. ठीक है. So one book that you can buy is Social Psychology by Barron and Bharadwaj. So this is the book that I am referring to, Barron and Bharadwaj. इसके obviously new editions are there, and try to find it if you can find a e-copy online. अब पता नहीं e-book online है कि नहीं, आप लोग देख लेना. By Social Psychology by Barron and Bharadwaj आप लोग ले सकते हैं. ठीक है, ऐसा बेस्ट नहीं बोल रहे, ये इजी लैंग्वेज है तो पढ़ने में थोड़ा सा समझ में आ जाता है. So you can refer to this book. If you have any other book of social psychology, तब भी it's okay. ठीक है, अदरवाइज आप लोगों को जो रीडिंग मटेरियल मिलेगा वो मोर देन एनफ. हाँ, और पढ़ने के लिए तो कोई एक बुक ले लो, कोई एक बुक ले लो. ठीक है, ओके. Acha, so now there is something called extraneous variables. Please. Yes. Okay, so what are extraneous variables? Extraneous variables are those which have some impact in our study, but we do not know them. That means they are not a part of the study, but they can still influence the outcome of my research. Now, for example, मैंने जो research किया था that eating ice cream will lead to weight gain. Now, in my participants, I observe that there are some who, despite eating ice cream, are not gaining weight. Now I thought ठीक है, मेरा तो hypothesis proof नहीं हुआ, मेरा hypothesis गलत है. But when I go and ask them personally and I see their medical history, I see that they cannot gain weight. उनका कुछ है, मतलब metabolism उनका weak है या क्या है, or they might be going through some physical illness या कोई disease है, इसके वजह से वो weight gain कर ही नहीं पा रहे. तो मेरा रिसर्च तो गलत हो गया ना, मुझे तो ये पता ही नहीं था. For example, in the other example, the video game example also, suppose there was one boy in the control group control group is which group? The group which did not, yes, which played normal video games. So there was one boy from the control group which played normal video games. He suddenly became very aggressive. Now I started thinking, how is this possible? इसने तो video games violent वाला नहीं खेला था, फिर भी aggressively क्यों behave कर? There can be so many extraneous problems. Maybe the kid has seen his parents fight in the home. You know, he comes from a background where there is a lot of physical fights and all. और मे बी वो घर लैब में आने से पहले वो स्ट्रीट में एक झगड़ा देख के आया है, मुझे क्या पता. So these variables which impact our study, these are called the extraneous variables. Confounding variables भी है, सेम है, सिमिलर है. ठीक है, confounding variables. Clear? So we as researchers, we try to control जितना हो सकता है. Of course there will always be something that is beyond our control, but we try जितना दूर हो सकता है कि हम ये information collect करके, background information collect करके, we try to control कि एक हमें homogeneous, similar kind of sample मिले.
For example, जो आपने 10 participants है, 20 participants, उसमें भी आइसक्रीम खाना था तो जितनी
हाँ, बिल्कुल, very nice example. Yes, very good example he has given, that somebody who is eating ice cream in my ice cream research, और मैं अपने research में ये बोलना भूल गई कि there is one condition of being a participant of my research, that you cannot do exercise or do gym. ठीक है, और अब बाकी भी नॉर्मल खाना आप खाओगे, ऐसा नहीं है कि आप कैलोरी डेफिसिट पे चले जाओगे. तब तो again, if I do not give these conditions, the person will eat ice cream and lose weight because he is gymming, right? So these are extraneous variables, very good example. So I as a researcher, this is my responsibility कि मुझे ये पहले ही ढूंढ के निकालना पड़ेगा कि what might impact, and I have to tell them beforehand कि you are not supposed to do this. Okay. Okay. So now whenever we do research, we have to do it what? Ethically. Ethically का मतलब? Yes, ethically मतलब when you're doing something with consent, with ethics, correctly. under principles, right? So the first one is informed consent. So tomorrow if I come to a class, yes, so tomorrow if I come to a class and I just start distributing you questionnaires and I say you have to fill up, अगर किसी ने fill up नहीं किया, I am going to deduct marks and I am going to throw them out of my class. And then you are asking me, ma'am, what is this, ma'am, है क्या? I am saying कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, no one should know it, just fill up करो और मुझे दो. ये क्या है? Ethical research नहीं है. This is not ethical. I have to first come to the class. I have to inform you what I am doing about what I am doing. ये questionnaire किस बारे में है? क्या आप इसमें participate करना चाहते हो? Some of you might say no, we don't want to be a part of this. You might walk out of the class. I cannot do anything. It's your right. ठीक है? So this is called informed consent. सबसे पहले हमें inform करना पड़ेगा कि है क्या, ठीक है? Consent लेना पड़ेगा आपसे कि आप क्या ready हो participant बनने के लिए, ठीक है? So this is called informed consent. Now there is something called deception. ठीक है? So there is something called deception. Now what is deception? Deception means sometimes, yes, the Hindi translation is that. So sometimes as a researcher, I cannot tell you the real purpose of what I am doing. So I withhold information. So for example, if I come and tell you, today I am going to do a research on good behavior. So everybody will be in their best behavior. Or if I tell you, today I want to see how you all take care of your environment. So all of you will start showing your best behavior. Today I want to do a research on smoking. Everybody will suddenly become, like non-smokers. So sometimes I, as a researcher, we have to withhold information so that we can get the real results. But you can ask me, then how is this ethical if I'm not telling you the truth? Okay, so we do something called debriefing. हाँ हाँ, क्वेश्चंस पढ़ के समझ जाएगा, लेकिन आप 100% हम क्यों कर रहे हो तो नहीं समझे. सपोज मुझे जानना है आज के इंडिया के यूथ के बारे में. सपोज आई एम एन अमेरिकन रिसर्चर एंड आई हैव कम टू इंडिया एंड आई वांट टू नो अबाउट इंडिया's youth. So maybe you might fake it just to show a good side of India. But I, as an American researcher, will tell my Indian colleague, aap jao. I am not going, because the moment they see an American person, they will start behaving nicely. So it's better an Indian conducted. And आप लोगों को normally लगेगा ये तो कोई normal Indian research हो रहा है, right? So थोड़ा सा deception use होता है. But we do something called debriefing. What is debriefing? So debriefing means after the research, we brief the participants about everything. We tell them what was the research for, इसके हम क्या यूज करेंगे, इसके results कहाँ publish होंगे, क्या नहीं होगा, were you hurt during the research, is there something you want to ask, okay, do you have any problem if we call you again for the research. So everything. So basically we give out all the information at the end. So debriefing is very important. Okay? Debriefing is very important. And the last one is, yes. ये सब ethics है, ये methods नहीं है. These are ethics. ये सब होना ही होना चाहिए. नहीं, deception तो depend करता है आपका research topic कैसा है. Deception इतना नहीं है. But informed consent, confidentiality, debriefing, ये सब तो important. वही तो कभी कभी हमें करना पड़ता है, लेकिन उसके लिए हमें डीब्रीफिंग करते हैं, उसके लिए ही हम डीब्रीफिंग करते हैं. डिसेप्शन एथिकल कुछ हद तक है एथिकल, बिकॉज समटाइम्स वी नीड टू गेट आउट रियल रिजल्ट्स, है ना. सपोज हम कैंसर के ऊपर रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, स्मोकिंग एंड कैंसर, अगर हमें रियल डेटा नहीं मिलेगा, हम कैसे उसके कुछ for the betterment of the society, how can we find out good research? So when the large view, when the broader perspective, when the broader view is important, then deception is used. Understood? Thoda sa, if we lie to the people, if we deceive the people for something greater good for the society, like cancer treatment, it's acceptable, no? नहीं, depends on the topic, depends on the topic. लेकिन debriefing जरूरी है. So lot of pharmaceutical medicine companies have been sued by the law, by the court because of this, क्योंकि वो लोग debriefing नहीं करते. Debriefing मतलब end में research के बाद आपको सब बताना होता है कि ये हमने ये किया था, इसलिए किया था. तो बहुत लोग अगर नहीं करते, इसके वजह से बहुत problems होती है. अगर आपने रिसेप्शन के बाद debriefing कर दिया, so that is no more an issue, because finally the person knows after the research is over. ठीक है? Confidentiality means okay. Everybody has signed the addenda sheet. So correlation, we are just establishing a relationship. In causal, we are establishing cause and effect. This is causing this. Correlation is just a relationship. कुछ है, कुछ रिश्ता है. We cannot claim. Yes, we cannot claim. Give me the attendance sheet. Everybody is filled up. We have a practical class. If you want to attend, you can. Practical. हाँ, I'm here. Anyone else?
रिसेप्शन और ये डीब्रीफिंग और ये डाउट है. जैसे कोई भी रिसर्चर अपनी रिसेप्शन को किसी भी तरीके से जस्टिफाई कर सकता है. जैसे कोई पॉइजनस पिल दे दी किसी को, तो वो बाद में डीब्रीफिंग करने के फायदा क्या?
हाँ, नहीं, ये तो गलत है.
तो फिर वो मतलब कैसे?
तो वो तो एथिकल ही नहीं है, वो बिल्कुल ही एथिकल नहीं है. तो डिसेप्शन का वही ना, वो
आपका मतलब बिल्कुल डेथ वाली होगी. मान लो समथिंग जो कि लॉन्ग टर्म में.
हाँ, ये नहीं, ये भी गलत है, ये भी गलत है. तो इसलिए वो एथिक्स कमेटी होता है. एथिक्स कमेटी होता है. आप कोई भी रिसर्च करने से पहले आपको एथिक्स कमेटी से परमिशन लेनी पड़ेगी कि ये मेरा टॉपिक है, मैं ये करूँगा, क्या मैं अलाउड, क्या आप अलाउ करते हैं, तो वो अलाउ करते हैं.
पहले अप्रूवल.
हाँ, वो यूनिवर्सिटी का होता है. जैसे आप DU से भी PhD करोगे या फिर कोई भी रिसर्च करोगे, तो आप पहले परमिशन लोगे वो एथिक्स कमेटी से. उसके बाद और उन एथिक्स कमेटी को आपको बोलना भी करेगा कि मैं डिसेप्शन यूज़ करूँगा, तो वो जज करेंगे कि सही है कि नहीं. ये कौन सा रूम नंबर है? 6. इसमें लिखा है, इस साइड लिखा है, ये 4 है.